Right, guys, in this video I wanted to go over cardio for lifters because this is something that I get asked about quite frequently, and it's something that I think that especially people in the strength community need to take a little bit more seriously. And when I'm talking about cardio, I'm going to both talk about general physical activity as well as actual cardiovascular training, basically how many steps that you should get per day, as well as cardio. So first off, why this is important is because if you want to perform the best, build muscle, lose body fat, etc., you need to have a baseline level of physical fitness and health in order for you to actually, be able to build muscle and strength as efficiently as possible. The reality is that if you're not healthy, if you're sick, you can't do much. And your cardiovascular system is also what allows you to recover and adapt from your training. Also, it's Halloween, that's why I have my shark hat on. But anyways, go back to what I was saying. The cardiovascular system is the main thing that allows you to recover and adapt from your training while out rest. And so if you're not cardiovascularly fit, you're going to see slower recovery in between your sessions, as well as also be less able to recover in between your sets and maintain high levels of performance. Usually people have rather large drop-offs in their sets. If they're doing 3 sets of 10 to 15, it goes like 15, 12, 9, something like that. Usually that's related to very poor cardiovascular health. And then also you're just gonna have better overall nutrient partitioning. A lot of my clients that come to me who are not getting in enough steps or doing cardio, once I start having them incorporate the things I'm going to discuss, they usually start noticing that they just start recomping like crazy. They build more muscle, their strength gains are faster, they're recovering better, and they lose body fat more efficiently. Because if you're not actually having a baseline stimulation of pathways that are going to allow you to lose body fat efficiently, you're just gonna have a really hard time. I see this a lot of times with people who are struggling with losing body fat. They just, even if they are in deficit, maybe their nutrient partitioning or what they're losing as far as body tissue is mostly muscle, or it's not as much fat as it should be. It has to do with that, just to some extent. So as far as my recommendations for people who want to start incorporating, getting in the proper amount of physical activity in their lifestyle is, a bare minimum of about 8,000 steps per day. The reason for that is just because that's about the data that we have that has been done on just general overall physical activity, where that's where most of the health benefits start to kick in. And they seem to increase about up to 15,000 steps, then it levels off. Hence my recommendation of getting 8,000 to 15,000 steps per day. Now, how do you get this level of physical activity in? The reality is you have to sort of make time for it. One of the things I recommend for my clients is go on like a 10-minute walk after your meals. Stan Efferding talks about that all the time. Make sure that you are getting in some morning and evening walks. Park further away from the grocery store. Maybe you buy a walking pad so you can walk in your apartment while you're watching, games or whatever you're doing. Really just make that time for it. The reality is that most of us don't really have a reason to move, so it's something you need to start to fit into your life. It's something you actually have to plan for, because if you don't, the reality is that you're probably just not going to get in, more than the national average of 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day. So that's my recommendation there, 8,000 to 15,000 steps, just a regular pace. Spreading that out throughout your day is also probably better than getting at one time all throughout your day. It's also just a lot easier, and in my experience, less overall mentally and physically fatiguing. And then as far as cardio, so cardio is not steps. Let's be very clear. If your heart rate is getting above 120 beats per minute walking, you have other problems. Cardio is basically where I would say you're getting into at least zone 2, which is going to be about 120 to 140 beats per minute. So what I recommend as far as that goes in quantity is about 60 minutes per week of zone 2 cardio. That can be on the elliptical, that can be on the treadmill, that can be on the bike. I highly recommend not doing the Stairmaster if you care at all about your leg muscle and strength. I've had experience where I've done cuts using the Stairmaster and it just nukes my legs. I get way more fatigued than if I was to, just spend a little bit extra time walking on the treadmill or doing the elliptical or the bike or whatever. And do that about, for 60 minutes a week. I like doing about 3 sessions to 20 minutes. I think that's a good place to overall start. And then, for those of you who might not have a heart rate monitor, what zone 2 kind of feels like is your heart rate is elevated. You're probably going to start sweating, but you can still hold a conversation while you are essentially talking. That is what zone 2 cardio kind of feels like. So that is going to be my overall recommendations as far as how physically active that you should be. And if you really do care about, getting as jacked and strong as possible, this is something that you should incorporate into your life. One other thing about steps. A really underrated strategy is when you're at the gym, and instead of just sitting down in between your sets, like pace around a little bit. I believe there was a study. I'll see if I can find it. I'll post it in the description below. But walking in between your sets actually increased recovery than just sitting down. My assumption is just due to increased capillarization, enhanced nutrient partitioning, because you are getting in that cardiovascular activity. You're moving your body. So yeah, that was essentially my recommendations for lifting and cardio and physical activity. So just to recap, this is important for mostly just because you want to be healthy, and better health is going to lead to better long-term progress. And then getting about 8 to 15,000 steps per day, and then getting 60 minutes of zone 2 cardio a week. So hopefully that all made sense. If you guys have any questions, ask me in the comments below, and love to help you out.